All right, let's talk about the fallers here. And Heath, I don't want to take all of yours as we look at Jamie. So you go first here. Your fallers, I think, are DeAndre Swift, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Elijah Moore.
Well, we were close. Juju was actually a riser. But yes, DeAndre Swift and Elijah Moore. And Elijah Moore is probably more of a dynasty thing just because I don't know how anybody had gotten too excited about him for redraft purposes yet. But as much as we've seen Aaron Rodgers struggle to connect with young wide receivers, it's hard for me to believe after the Jets sign Allen Lazard that he's going to connect with two of them in New York. I think the best case for Elijah Moore is now that he ends up somewhere other than on the Jets.
I push back on the notion that he struggles to connect with young wide receivers.
Okay.
They barely ever gave him young wide receivers. They haven't drafted one in the first round in like 20 years. And I think if you look
Elijah Moore was not a first round pick.
Okay, but I'm just talking about the Packers here. I think you look at what Christian Watson did in the second half of the year. He was a top 10 wide receiver. They connected pretty well.
I think Elijah Moore had a 6-week stretch his rookie year as a top 10 wide receiver.
He had I think the fifth most green zone targets in the NFL in the last 8 games. 1.5 of which he was basically either not playing or playing hurt. I think he connected pretty well with Christian Watson. And does that I'm saying, even if you disagree with that, there haven't been that many rookie wide receivers for him to connect with.
Okay. He's not a rookie though, Elijah Moore. He's in his third year. I mean, this is, the hope would be is that this crappy quarterback situation that the Jets had last season. Thank God Garrett Wilson put up the numbers he did without Zach Wilson. But did you really expect, Joe Flacco in the limited time that he played, and Zach Wilson and Mike White and those guys to, cater to 2 guys, let alone 3 with Corey Davis? So I don't think Elijah Moore, I don't disagree with Heath that he's not somebody that you should be excited about. But the potential additions of Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb make it tough from a target perspective to say Elijah Moore can ascend from that group to the point where you're excited about him once again.
And with all that said, is Garrett Wilson a riser or a faller? Because, months ago, before, or not, I guess maybe like a month ago, sorry, after the season ended, before we really thought Rodgers was going to the Jets, it was always a possibility. He was a 3rd round pick, even early 3rd round for some people, but gets Rodgers in theory, but also gets Lazard, maybe Cobb. So is Garrett Wilson a riser or a faller?
I didn't move him, but he's closer to a faller than a riser for me. I feel a little bit more nervous than I feel like I shouldn't. We went into this not knowing who his quarterback was going to be, and now we think we know who his quarterback's going to be, and I still feel a little bit nervous.
Same.
Yeah. The argument is just for him is just that he's probably so much better than all those other guys.
Yeah.
And the cream will rise.
I mean, you would hope, and again, Rodgers, when he's had a guy, he's really featured that guy, and this should be that guy. Lazard is not that guy. Cobb is clearly at this point in his career not that guy, and Elijah Moore is not that guy.
I give this stat. I've been waiting for Rodgers to sign so I can give this, or get traded so I can give this damn stat. But what I love about a number 1 receiver for Aaron Rodgers is the red zone, green zone peppering of targets. From 2012 to 2021. Okay, we'll talk about 2022 in a minute, but 2012 to 2021, that's 10 seasons. A Green Bay wide receiver ranked top 11 in red zone targets every single season, and top 5 in red zone targets in 5 of those 10 seasons. Similar trends in the green zone. I won't bog you down in numbers, but he locks on to guys, and he did that with Allen Lazard weeks 2 through 9. Lazard was 5th in red zone targets and 6th in green zone targets. Lazard didn't play in week 1, and weeks 1 through 9, Christian Watson barely played. Christian Watson starts playing week 10, basically. Week 10 through 18, he was 5th in red zone targets. He was 2nd in green zone targets in the NFL. It is something that happens every year with Aaron Rodgers. He picks one guy, and he throws to him over and over again in the red zone and the green zone. Will that happen again this year?
Good trade.
Yeah. I'm going to be so mad if it doesn't happen this year because it's one of my favorite stats. Let's just hope it's Garrett Wilson, right? Okay, Heath, Juju's a riser, huh?
Yeah, I think he moves into a place where he probably just takes over the 22% target share that Jacoby Myers left behind. And he'll be a number 3 wide receiver in a pretty decent situation. I think he's the clear number 1 target for the Patriots.
But is he better than he was last year with the Chiefs?
I think on a per game basis, he might be close. Because last year was kind of a weird year. He had, a 6-week stretch where he was a number 2 wide receiver. And then before that and after that, he had some weeks where he wasn't really worth anything. There will be ups and downs, but I think overall he's probably somewhere between wide receiver 30 and 36.
Okay. Jamie's fallers. Oh, sorry.
No, I wasn't sure going into free agency, like as cold as the market had been on him for 2 years in a row. I thought he might go into a worse situation than this.
I don't think this is a better situation, though.
But he's a riser for you, Heath, because you thought it could have been worse, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Jamie's fallers, DeAndre Swift, he had him as well. Alvin Kamara and Jamaal Williams. So talk about that, Jamie. Kamara and Williams are losers, fallers.
Well, I mean, let's assume Kamara does not get suspended, which seems unlikely at this point, but I don't think he's going from 2 touchdowns to 10 touchdowns with Jamaal Williams on the field. So his rushing touchdowns are going to clearly suffer once again, as long as Taysom Hill's still there as well. So, Jamaal Williams at this point, not that he's a better player from a career standpoint than Mark Ingram, but I think a 31-year-old Mark Ingram compared to Jamaal Williams at this phase of his career, Williams is probably in a little bit better standing. So a guy that's going to take some work away, not just in the ground game, but this is still a guy that for his tenure with the Packers averaged 30 receptions a season and could probably take some work in the passing game as well if Kamara's not producing across the board. So, obviously Jamaal Williams loses going from a place where he could have scored multiple touchdowns double-digit touchdowns to, a place where we'll probably be lucky to get 6 or 7. And so I think both these guys lose with the addition of Jamaal Williams in New Orleans.
I was actually a little more excited about Jamaal Williams just because I did think that Kamara is probably going to get suspended. And for that,
well, there's a difference. That's a totally different conversation.
Right.
I agree with you from that standpoint. If there is a suspension, then Jamaal Williams gets a benefit of however many games that is. But if it's 2-game suspension, I don't know how much that's going to really boost Jamaal Williams' value.
I don't want to have to draft Jamaal Williams, but you have to draft.
You dislike him.
Yeah, you have to draft. Well, it seems like he's a really good dude. The teammates love him. I like that about him.
His press conference was awesome.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah. He wore a Pokemon hat. He talked about the character he's wearing. He said that he has different kind of laughs. He said there's an evil laugh, but I could be happy. There's a happy laugh. I could be evil. It's very fun.
Okay, you brought up Pokemon. I'm going to confirm something. Hold on. Yeah. So Blake Martinez was the Giants. He was a Packers linebacker, then the Giants, then he went to the Raiders, and then I think, right? And then he abruptly retired. Mm-hmm. He made, according to the New York Post, $5 million in 7 months selling Pokemon cards. So maybe we know why he retired. He is just rolling in the dough, selling Pokemon cards. Good for Blake Martinez. All right, let's see. More fallers here for Jamie. We'll go to the wide receivers. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Yeah, we talked about that for sure. Heath and Jamie, do you guys have either Evans or Godwin in your top 24?
I do not.
Godwin and PPR, yes.
Kobe Myers is a rankings faller for Jamie. And you stuck that way after the Waller trade?
Yep.
Okay. And Josh Palmer, I know you were excited about an opportunity for him with Keenan Allen potentially getting released or something that didn't happen. So where's Palmer?
Oh, double-digit round guy. Late round flyer.
Wide receiver 56.
And tight end fallers for Jamie are Cole Kmet and Mike Gesicki. We did not talk about Mike Gesicki. So if you're in a super deep league and you have to pick a Patriots tight end, which one are you going for?
Henry.
Yeah, I'll go. Henry was the roller coaster because I had just moved him up from looking at his target share last year when Jonnu Smith didn't play, and then Mike Gesicki ends and he's back outside the top 20.
Yeah, I really struggle with this Patriots offense because I don't know how much Bill O'Brien is going to make this passing game that much better. So I don't really love Juju there. I don't really love Mike. I hate Mike Gesicki there, to be honest with you. The saving grace would be that Bill O'Brien recruited him to Penn State. So, there's that connection, but is Tyquan Thornton going to get a bigger opportunity? Devontae Parker still being there, how much are they just going to be still a run first team, so is Juju even better than Jacoby Myers at this point? You know, and will he just assume, as Heath said, that target share and that opportunity? I still feel like I'm hands off the Patriots, aside from Rodgers Stevenson.